Today's podcast is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo. I recently joined as a member and you can too. Apply today to become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's podgo.co at podgo.co. And remember to include the name The Scoreless Thriller Podcast in your application. Thank you.
Man there trying to stop Drogba getting himself into further trouble.
It's a fucking disgrace.
Oh, it's not a bad ball for Pele on the right side. It's Carlos Alberto. Oh, what a great goal that was! Carlos Alberto.
Maradona just walked away from Huddle then. Saldano, smokes and Maradona! They're appealing for offside. The ball came back off the foot of Steve Hodge. And Maradona gives Argentina the lead. The England players protesting to the referee.
De halve finale komen. Ik heb opeens zo'n gevoel dat we in de halve finale gaan komen. Met het balbezit voor Frank de Boer. Frank de Boer speelt de bal. Heel goed naar Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp neemt de bal aan. Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp. Oh! Frank de Boer speelt de bal naar Dennis Bergkamp. Die neemt de bal feilloos aan. En die schiet de bal erin.
Hello and welcome to the Scoreless Thriller Podcast. I'm joined as always by my good friend Leon. Leon, how are you doing today?
A little tired, but very excited to be here.
Ah, okay. And we've got Mr. Danish Football with us again. Yannick is back on the podcast. Yannick, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
Yeah, and we're excited to carry on our work from last week to go this deep dive into Danish football. So we've narrowed down the field to 4 teams. Do you want to list out the 4 teams that we've got on the right now?
So we've got North Zealand. Then we got Brøndby. Yannick, I'm looking at you to give me feedback. Then we got Fremelamme. And last but not least, we've got...
B900
We picked this particular club, right? Because they are kind of the nemesis, as you explained to us last time, of Fremelamme.
Yeah, they're the traditional arch rivals because they are really next door neighbors, literally.
Okay.
Mm.
So that's why I thought maybe it would be interesting to look into these guys. But what do you know about them?
They were established in 1908,
Okay.
hence the name.
That's the name?
Yeah.
Creative.
The B is for football club, so it's basically the football club of 1908.
Okay.
And yeah.
It's very common that there are like lots of teams with like dates from like the early 20th century, right? There's like what are the other ones? B903? B1903?
Yeah.
Another one?
Yeah. B93, B93, B1901, B1921.
Yeah, you have the same in
pretty
Germany.
much. Yeah, there's.
But
loads
usually
of
in
them.
amateur leagues, though.
Yeah, most of them are now as well. But some of them were further up. B1909.
Okay, so let's start with the biggest club on our list today. So let's talk about Brøndby. So would you say Brøndby are the kind of most historical, biggest club in Denmark, or?
No, but in my lifetime they are. So from the 80s and forward, they definitely are the bigger club. But I must say that Copenhagen has taken
Surpassed them.
Yeah, I don't know if this.
But would you mean surpass them in sort of success, or also like fan wise, or just like in what way have they kind of surpassed?
I would guess it's on the field. I would say I wouldn't say surpass. That
Success on the pitch.
That was Leon, so I will never use the word surpass for FC Copenhagen.
Give me a culpa.
But I think they are. I mean, in recent years they've done better than Brøndby, both nationally and internationally. But fan wise, I think both clubs are still pretty much equally well supported. They're very well supported, both clubs.
But Brøndby's fan culture is very strong. You would
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's me being with the tinted colored glasses or whatever it's called. But my instinct is that there are more amongst the FCK fans that would have a hard time supporting a club that didn't win all the time than there are in Brøndby. I could get kicked in the face for saying that in certain pubs in Copenhagen.
The prawn sandwich brigade.
I think there are more prawn sandwich brigade people, more fair weather fans among that definitely are in Brøndby as well. But my hunch is that there are more.
But is this just intuitive, or do you know like someone a fan of
gut feeling? Gut feeling. I know some fans, but the ones I know, they're proper fans.
Die hard.
But I just see it's when you're at the ground, some of the people you see and meet, and especially some of, like the celebrity fans of FC Copenhagen. I despise them all.
Can you give some names?
Well,
do you know whether Margrethe is a fan of any football club?
I don't know.
What about the guy from Game of Thrones? Is he FC Co fan? I'm just naming like the only Danish celebrities I know.
I didn't watch Game of Thrones. I don't know who's in Game of
Thrones. Popular culture's reference lost on him. No, but that's fine. But then, which are the ones that actually support FC Co? Like the celebs?
Yeah, there for instance, that
Nikolai Coster-Waldau.
Okay,
you just came up with a name. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I know. That's good. He could be one of them. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you been to the Derby many times?
Well, 5-ish times, something like that, I guess.
And
was there a good one? A good derby, like a spicy.
Yeah, like a cup final.
I mean,
or something.
the best one that I've been to, that was maybe 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I think. It was in Brøndby.
Okay.
And Brøndby hadn't beaten FCK for quite a while. And they beat them on a very late goal. And I was there with some 3 Americans that I was introducing to proper football. And we were standing at the south end, at the upper part of South End, though. So crazy, but not too crazy.
Yeah.
Fans, and things got absolutely crazy. And
pure ecstasy.
There was just as much beer in the air as oxygen, I think, at one point. So,
is there ever much?
That was a lot of fun. That was a great game.
Is there ever sort of like much violence when in the derby, in Copenhagen?
There used to be. There was a period where the Brøndby FC Copenhagen game was associated with a lot of violence, but it was usually a group from each that had more or less decided on showing up and smashing each other. But there has been some more incidents, and there's been a lot of vandalism in connection with the games. But I can't say that any team's worse or better than the other. I think
is hooliganism a problem in Danish football?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Like not at all.
Would you say it ever was? Like how about in like the 80s? Or the,
in the 80s there was even less. I mean, it didn't follow like the
like in England.
No, it didn't follow that really. There were this in the 80s. It was very peaceful going, and also that not that many went because it had only just started really, the sort of resurgence of not resurgence, the appearance of Danish football on the international scene.
Oh, okay. What brought that about? As in, what was the sort of growth or the heyday of?
Well, I think one of the things was that it was as late as '77 that we got professional football.
Okay.
And it was actually semi-pro to begin with. It used to be all amateur, and the football association was actually against it for many years. But then it came about, and then also at some point we got a German coach for the national team who changed it to a more professional outlook, basically, and that changed a lot of things as well. We got a few international coaches for Danish clubs as well, and then just in time, and also with the luck of good generations with some good players. Then sort of mid 80s we had some success. It actually started at early 80s. We qualified for the European Championships in France in 82. That was sort of the breakthrough, you could say, and that sort of kick-started things a bit. And then the club football was probably another 10 years later than that before it really
Okay, so it kind of coincided because when I read about Brøndby, like the between 1985 and 2005, they won 10 league titles, which is like their one. That's how many they've won. They haven't won it since.
Yeah,
that was their sort of dominant period.
Yeah, that was the heyday, absolutely. Yeah, and they did quite well in Europe a couple of times. You know, they went to the, was it semi or quarterfinal? I forget. Okay. But quite close.
And like just looking at like average attendances for the league, they're the second highest behind FC Co.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
What's the difference? Is it big?
Like 1,000. Like 1,000. But
Yeah.
there's more than they're more than double the third placed team in average of of average attendance.
Which is what, Midtjylland?
Yeah.
Midtjylland. Yeah, and this was from last season, right?
Yeah.
1920. Yeah. Yeah, but I would say that one of the reasons, that's my claim, of course, is that one of the reasons that FC Copenhagen is doing better in terms of attendance is that they are doing better. So in that sense, I think that's
like
sort of proves,
fluctuation.
in the brackets, prove my theory that Brøndby are the more well-supported club,
because Brøndby have quite a new stadium as well.
Even when they do poorly, they have a
They attract the fans.
Yeah.
And the other thing is kind of fluctuation due to success.
Yeah, I think so. That's my.
Okay.
But I would also say that in time, I think this will even out, because as I think I mentioned in the last podcast, that a lot of the people younger than me, and especially those sort of 15, 20 years younger than me, they basically grew up with this club. So for them, it is their club. It's not just some sort of merger on top of original
FC
clubs.
you mean now?
Yeah.
If you compare like the enthusiasm and the fan culture and kind of the vibe that you get in the stadium, what's the major difference? Or is there none?
I think that's impossible for me to answer, because I'm so...
You're so biased.
So biased, yeah.
But then give us your biased opinion on this.
Yeah. Yeah, it is super biased, but I think, to me, like for instance, the tifos in the FC Co, they tend to become more sort of high flying, and a lot of sort of Viking stuff, but then again, there's a lot of that stuff in Brøndby as well. I'm just super biased. I just feel more at home at Brøndby Stadium than I do at Parken.
Yeah, okay.
Unless it's the national game, then I'm at home.
Then it doesn't matter.
I know I asked you this before the pod, but can you give us like the first line of the song?
Yeah. What is like
when they go into the stadium, you know, or just just start by like announcing them, introducing them in Danish, like, you know, the guy in the stadium does.
Oh yeah, but
like creating the hype,
it's
selling the team.
But it's been too long, and there's not one song in Brøndby. But there is this one with Gul and Blå, and I looked up the lyrics. It's on a song. The original song is called Susan Himmelblå. The lyrics go: Gul og blå, du er alt jeg tænker på. Havde jeg 2 liv, så gav jeg dem begge til dig, men jeg kan ikke spå.
I love this.
It's so sweet. It's like a kid's poem.
Yeah.
Can you say the lines
and it
in
was
English?
written by H.C. Andersen.
It doesn't make that much sense.
Because it's like, if I had 2 lives, I give them both to you, right? Or what?
Yeah. So it's yellow and blue.
Yeah.
You are all that I think of. If I had 2 lives, I would give them both to you, but I cannot predict into the future.
But I cannot predict into the future. Very sour.
Yeah,
I mean, the start does make sense to me,
yeah.
but then they kind of lose me towards the end.
It's like they kind of lose the commitment of the song halfway through. They're like, well, actually,
Maybe
I'm not
that's
able
what a
to
lot
know.
of fans feel, right? Like they wish they just had 2 lives. Because sometimes football takes up a lot of your time, right? Especially on the weekend. You're supposed to hang out with your family, you know, spend some quality time with everyone, but then you just want to go nuts and drink and watch the derby.
I'm not sure
whatnot.
it's this deeply.
That's what this song means to me, I feel.
I find it interesting that, you know, despite them being sort of historically a very successful Danish club, you're quite happy to go along and support them. And I'm wondering whether it's a genuine affection for them or just because they're the anti-FC Co.
Well, the last bit is a big part of it. And I mean, I really support HB Køge. So Brøndby is sort of my go-to team for the top league when we are not there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also just, you know, if they win, at least it's not FC Co. That's the main thing. But also, quite a lot of my friends are Brøndby fans, and I've been to the ground quite a lot, and I do think that they have a fantastic atmosphere. I must say.
Okay.
So my heart is maybe not yellow and blue,
Okay,
but
if
it's
you were
definitely not white and blue.
But so if you were to have a friend come to Copenhagen and you were to take them to a game, you would definitely take them to a Brøndby game.
No question.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
The only time I've taken people to Parken is when they played Brøndby.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only time I was there.
Yeah.
For the derby.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I think we've done enough on Brøndby. Let's move on to FC Nordsjælland, and these are another one of these lovely, what do you call them? Merger clubs.
Yeah, yeah.
Based out in Farum. But you were telling me before we came on air that they have a certain reputation because of where the money came from for their growth. Do you want to dig a little deep into this?
Quite early on, they had a very charismatic.
And this is early 2000s, we should say, right? Or?
Yeah, and even before that, a lot of this started even before when they were quite far down in the leagues.
Okay. Yeah, so they formed as Farum Ball Club in 1991 and then changed to FC Nordsjælland in 2003.
Yeah, so they had this very charismatic and a bit controversial mayor for many years, Brixtofte, and he was really into football, and he was very engaged in getting this club promotions, and they were very helpful to get the club and also the handball club very good facilities, and with time they got this very nice stadium they've got up there, and a very good handball arena as well. And he put a lot of money in it, and they eventually made it to the Superliga, and then they created this Nordsjælland where they made this elite sort of top
facility
section of the club that was FC Nordsjælland, with a backing of a lot more smaller clubs, which basically means that they are to a certain degree feeder clubs to the youth system of Nordsjælland, as far as understood. And during this time, this mayor was really instrumental in putting a lot of money both into the club and into especially the facilities and the football ground and stuff. Problem was that quite a bit of that money came from the municipal coffers, and he didn't really follow the rules. I don't remember the details of how he did it, but he illegally transferred money to the football club.
Whoops.
And also, I don't remember to which degree the football club was involved, but he ended up actually getting... I don't know if embezzlement is the right word, but it's something similar to embezzlement. So basically, he ended up serving prison for having gone behind the back of the municipal.
Well, he got convicted for this.
Yeah, he got convicted.
This and other stuff.
Some years, I forget how many.
But this phenomenon of feeder clubs, don't you think that that's quite a natural thing to happen? Like in Hamburg, I feel like there are a lot of feeder clubs that build up youth teams. And then at one point, they'll, like the Hamburger Sportverein or just St. Pauli, they'll of course, cherry pick the best players from these clubs.
Yeah, but then
take them over.
There are, in this system, it's formalized, basically. Okay. So they have first pick, you could say, of their talent, rather than some other clubs coming in. Like, for instance, in the greater Copenhagen area, there's quite a lot of clubs in the first two tiers, and so a lot of those clubs will be interesting for young people to go to.
Yeah. So
the clubs that are connected to FC Nordsjælland, and I know it's the same for pretty much every top 1 and 2 tier clubs in Denmark, probably.
Yeah.
That they have a network of clubs where they have some sort of formalized agreement that you're top 10 and tell us about them before anybody else.
So it's kind of like a gang area.
Yeah,
like
and
then
in a way. But then at the same time, they also help them with stuff. They get their best players in these smaller clubs get some of the trainers out from some of the top trainers and stuff like that. So it goes both ways. At least the little I know from about this is from HB Køge, and I know some of the local clubs down there. They get sort of higher skilled coaches in, and also get coaching lessons. The small club coaches go to the bigger clubs to get coaching lessons and stuff like that. So.
So it seems kind of a natural development in professionalization of football in Denmark.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah.
But they have this academy which they're linked to in Ghana, right? Where they develop players there for their team in North Zealand.
Yeah, so both the Ghanaian one and also just the academy they have with themselves. They, I forget when, but at some point they basically decided to invest a lot in talent development, and the Ghanaian part was part of that, the Ghanaian academy.
Okay.
And they've got quite a few players at least into Danish football, and I think some of them beyond as well.
Yeah, I saw some of their players that they developed there now playing in the US and stuff like this. But so they kind of have a reputation as being the club good for developing young players.
Yeah, and quite early on, it's varied a little bit from manager to manager, but quite a few of the managers up there have been quite willing to use young players and give them a chance, and put them into the top tier league, even if they were only 18, 19, 20. Yeah.
But fan culture wise, it's not a particularly strong.
Yeah, no, I think that it's a little boring. But also, I mean, there's just not that many. I think we looked it up earlier today, and in their best season, they were about 5,000 something.
True. That was
which in Denmark is actually, to be fair, a pretty decent one.
Yeah,
but that was the only year.
It's down to less than 2,000.
Yeah, but that was somewhat Corona hit. Maybe that number as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the cliffhanger of the last pod, right?
Yeah.
We told us at the end that they don't have any fan support.
And
then we were like, okay, off the list.
But I'm interested in like the youth development stuff and also like this side with connections.
And I think what stuck with me was that you said that they play positive football.
Yeah, that's my impression at least. I think that generally they tend to be quite entertaining to watch. And they've had also because you know that they'll come with some new exciting talent quite frequent, and then you will see these young players doing really well at the top level in Danish football.
Okay, that's interesting. Let's now move on to the club a few hundred meters away from us. The lovely. Do you want to
excitement levels are rising? You can hear it in Alex's voice.
The lovely.
Seat.
I'm very worried about each time I say it whether it's correct. Like if I met someone on the street and you say "Fremmer Amma," or do I even say the "Amma" bit? Because then I looked at someone else and it's just say like "Fremmel."
Yeah, I think you would have to be very, very, very local to just call it Fremmer.
Fremmer.
Okay.
I think most people would say Fremmer Amma.
Fremmer
Amma.
Yeah.
Just say it as fast as possible and then over.
Fremmer, yeah.
Where do we begin with Fremmer Amma? Because when I looked at their history, they sort of very much they've always been a kind of lower league club. I think when I looked at it the last time they were in the Superliga was in 1994. So where what do you know? What is the kind of general perception of Fremmer Amma?
Well, I would say that in early days, I think the 60s and 70s they were a top tier club as far as I remember. At least in history, they have been in the top league many times, and it is a big club. And I would say everybody in Denmark knows Fremmer Amma. It's there's a lot of history in that club, and traditionally they also produced quite a few players for the national team and stuff. So it is a big club historically.
But why has it got a big reputation historically if they've always been sort of like they've never been a really big team? Is it just sort of their values or like the image of them or how it portrays itself?
Yeah, maybe a combination, but also they had a period of poor economy. I think did they go bust 3 times or something?
Yeah, that's what I said. The record in Danish football.
Yeah. So they are, but also typical for them. They come back after each of those times. They'll come back. They'll get someone to raise money. They will get back into the.
Yeah, but what happens when you
football.
go bankrupt?
Well, here you're relegated out of the leagues. So out of the.
So you have to start at the very first, lowest division.
No, I think it's
again.
I forget if it's the the fourth or the fifth tier.
Yeah, maybe you jump into like
I think
the
maybe you have to go
professional
into
leagues or, like,
the
semi-pros.
regional ones.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. So that would be Københavner-serien, Copenhagen series, and then Denmark. And then I don't know if it's that far down or if it's just Denmark.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just outside of the semi-pros.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not entirely sure actually. I don't remember. But either way, they came back, and they did a merger with some of the other clubs. I think possibly B1908 was part of that. Actually, I don't remember.
It was. Well, no, I don't think it was. So when I looked at it, it was with Dragor, Kastrup, and Kloamaker.
Oh yeah, KFB.
Yeah, and that was in 2008. They tried this short merger to make FC Amma, but it only lasted 8 months.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, I think it was mainly financial issues. I think, and also I think there were some internal stuff. I think Kastrup weren't really keen on it.
I find all these mergers so amazing. Like I'm trying to imagine like in English football, people being okay with their club.
No, but I just wonder.
Merging
Yeah, but it's just a different stage of football development and professionalism. Like maybe this happened in early day English football too, right? You'll just have like super local clubs, and then at one point it just makes sense to compete on a more national level that you merge with other clubs. But of course in England this happened like way back. Yeah. But now in Denmark, since football became professional only that late, that's now what we talk about.
Yeah.
But in England it's all forgotten.
Yeah, but it was still, I mean, FCK, for instance, it was quite controversial between some fans of KB or B1903. They weren't necessarily all happy with this.
But they're not the most recent. I think there's been another Superliga merger since then.
Yeah. Nordsjælland was later. Midtjylland was later.
So it continues to happen. It's not as if
Randers was later.
Okay.
So just quick question between Midtjylland. How happy are you that they made it to the Champions League, or not so much? Because I felt like this was like a concrete question for what we talked about earlier in the last pod, right? Whether you would support a club that you don't feel that excited about just because they're Danish.
Yeah. See, it was fun to see them lose to Atalanta quite convincingly. At the same time, it's also a little sad because it shows the state of Danish club football compared to Italian, and maybe even worse is that it means that we don't gain as many points for places in the European leagues next year.
Yeah,
which is a pity.
So don't support the team, support the coefficient. That's the rule.
The coefficient. That was the word I was looking for.
No, but that's a crucial question always when Munich plays.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I presume everybody in Germany is anybody but Bayern. Right.
Yeah, everyone except for the Bayern fans. Yeah, but yeah,
and Leipzig.
Yeah,
Leipzig too. Yeah, no one likes them too. But I feel like the antagonism versus Bayern is stronger.
Stronger than Leipzig?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, but it just but because it's been growing for so many years. Like Bayern Munich, it's like an institution. Like even people who don't go to like football matches that often, they kind of know that you are against Munich, right? But just because like it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
With kind of Leipzig, it's within the maybe hardcore football scene. Yeah. Then definitely people will be very much against it.
So the people who aren't that invested in football culture don't really know about
no, it doesn't ring a bell with them.
Yeah.
But Bayern Munich definitely does. Like the Totenhosen song, there's one about them and stuff. Like people will know this shit. So.
Because I think when I remember reading an article, I think maybe it was not last season but the season before, when it looked like it would be like a Leipzig versus Bayern title race, and I was struck by they asked all these sort of ultras or like fan groups around Germany from these teams, and I kind of expected them to be rooting for Leipzig just for like a different winner of the league, and they were all like very adamant that like they want Bayern to win. They don't want to recognize RB at all.
Yeah, no, with the ultras I totally see this. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but then in general, like in the broader football culture, which also includes like the non-diehard fans, I feel like Munich is more of a people that more of a club that people rally against than Leipzig.
So if I was to go along to a Amma game, what is the kind of sort of fan culture, or what would you kind of expect would be the kind of hallmarks of? It wouldn't. I know it's on a smaller scale, but would people be as kind of diehard as they would be for Brøndby or something? Or
I mean, you will find some, but a lot fewer, but you will find some people that will go to all the home games, even some that will go to most of the away games as well. I think it's my impression it's quite sort of family type thing. There's quite a few who bring their family there. It's the same at the other clubs as well, of course, but here it's very much like a neighborhood club. So it's a very local club in many ways. So you'll meet your neighbor down there, or the guy from the supermarket and things like that. So it is very much a local team.
What is the situation in Denmark with sort of fan-owned clubs? Because I was kind of surprised. I thought Fremad would be a fan-owned club, but then it's like 80% a investment corporation. Is there any sort of fan-owned clubs, or is it all sort of mostly outside investment limited?
Yeah, no, I would say that usually there's some sort of rich guy behind it, or a consortium or something like that. I don't think there's any sort of particular fan-owned clubs, not that I know of. I think possibly at Fremad, that's out in Valby, third tier club. I think possibly they started something like that at some point, but I think it's still like a group of companies that basically own it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And there are no initiatives to build up fan base.
No, but also in many cases, those companies will often be like smaller local companies that go together and buy the club together, and they are basically fans that just happen to own companies.
Yeah.
So they can do it. I think that's. So it's a lot like it used to be in the lower leagues in the UK before money, even in lower leagues.
Yeah.
Once it started getting so competitive that they needed more money.
So before we decide on our final answer, I found this quick flowchart online for deciding your Superliga club. So we're going to go through this now with Yannick and Leon to see if the decision that we come to we're happy with. Now, it doesn't include Fremad because it's just Superliga, so we're going to have to bear that in mind. But let's go through this and see what we come up with.
Okay, just one quick question, Yannick. If it turns out that you're an FC Køge fan by this flowchart, then will you accept the verdict?
No. Now then, I lay down a veto on this podcast being broadcasted.
We'll do a GoFundMe for a season ticket. Or no, we'll pay for you to be like one of the kids, like
the boys,
the mascot,
or girls running in the stadium, holding the hand of the captain.
I'll switch with one of the kids to run out with the opposing team then.
Okay.
No. Okay, question 1. Do you like winning silverware?
No.
Worst thing I know.
Do you like good football? I mean, what is good football?
It's such a triggering question. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And youth development?
Yeah. That's important. That's the basic of your future, man.
What about a shady business practice model and some shady owners?
Ooh, no, I'm all for moral principalism.
Okay.
Yeah.
No shady owners.
No. What about some good results as well?
I mean, that's kind of like the first question. No, okay. Some good results.
Yeah.
I like some good results. You want to like cheer every now and then.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So come to your decision that you should support FC Nordsjælland.
Huh.
Yeah, but see, this I was thinking that already at question 2 that the people who made this set it up to let it find the clubs they want you to find.
Okay.
I think. Because I mean, for instance, this with the shady thing. I mean, they got Nordsjælland got part of their clubs from a guy from a mayor who siphoned money from.
Yeah, that's weird.
You know, so that's what.
Brøndby
has had some issues with some people in their board at some point, and now they seem to be fine, and you know, so it. Yeah.
So if you had said yes to the shady business one, it would have taken you to Vejle. But what about Vejle? Is there some bad business stuff with Vejle?
Not that I know of.
Huh. Well, I don't know.
Did you read the map correctly?
They actually
Yeah, I
also
think
joined
so.
the merger at some point, Wiley.
Yeah, I did read it correctly.
Okay, fair enough. Because we do know that there was some shady bit with business with North Zealand.
Yeah, that's where it's
So,
weird. I'm not sure about this. Anyway, it's my turn now.
okay.
Do me.
Okay, I'll do you.
How are you ever going to fit Framalama into this?
We just assume Premier is the right answer.
Okay.
Spoiler alert! No shit. Listen to that.
That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. Okay. Also, I've got like the suspicion that you know this by heart, and you've like run this track down like a million times, that you know where you'll end up. But anyways, here we go. Exciting first question. Do you like winning silverware?
No.
Mister? No. Okay. So it takes you to the second question, which would be: do you like good football?
Nah.
You're just saying this to come up somewhere else different than me.
No.
But okay,
I mean, it's
okay,
not the most important thing
no.
for me when I pick a club.
Okay. So here we go. How about youth development?
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Big fan. Oh, fantastic. How about the return of some local lads? I mean,
return from where? The coal mines, the war, the Somme.
all of this. Okay, this question is anyways kind of like it's not relevant because the decision is made anyways.
I think.
And here's the club. No,
I hate the local lads.
No,
Take me back. I hate them.
It's too late. It's too late to turn back. This is a one-way street,
No.
and this one-way street leads towards Framalama.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Absolutely.
I can't believe I didn't see them on the board
They're not
earlier.
even on the map, but you still found your way to them. No. Actually, it's like RB.
OB.
The
The O are the two A's.
two A's.
Yeah, OB. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, you pronounced it fine. It was just that it's not necessarily the easiest.
Is that the Ownse club?
Yeah, the OB and OB. You could see how that could easily be. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that.
Oh,
it's
one
not-
is
like
one
a-
is Ownse, one is Elbow.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like a place in Germany where you can buy screwdrivers and stuff.
Okay.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's quite a problem with this flowchart, because if you say yes to the first question about like liking silverware, you're basically on a one-way street to either FC Co or Midtjylland.
But it's also, I mean, if you, then the second one is, do you like good football? First of all, it's what is good for football? Some people prefer a good, strong defense. Some of us like tiki-taka, So
I'd argue that tiki-taka is
and
good
also
football.
Yeah, I think
and good
which
strong defense.
which club fits in. Which club fits into this? That's also to some degree quite.
yeah, it fluctuates.
subjective.
Teams like some teams are always
and
good
sometimes
football.
it's very dependent on which manager they have. If they change manager, they might switch to another style in time. And yeah,
Okay, let's turn this around. Yannick, ask us one question that you want us to answer, or two or three, and then decide which team suits us best. How would you make this better?
well, I mean, the ideal way.
Yeah.
I said that last time as well, but it's not really compatible with current Corona times. But the ideal way was to, these ones that you singled out, to go to a home and away game from each of those teams.
Yeah.
To get the atmosphere. And see which one captures your heart the most. But since you can't do that.
But you know us well enough, I think, to have a good idea as to what we would enjoy. I.e. cheap beers, football.
Yeah, I think Farm's out.
Yeah.
Northland is out.
Yeah, because it's a little boring. And the football's pretty good, but the atmosphere is not.
Yeah,
so good.
I feel
So
like
if
I
they
feel
play a
very
small
stale.
Team, if they play a small team that doesn't bring many fans, somewhere from a small team from far away, then it's a little dull up there. I
Okay,
think.
3 teams left.
And then it's a question of, do you want the big league football or do you want local football? And in local football, are B 1908 still in this?
Yeah, just about. I mean, I kind of forgot about them, but yeah.
Didn't do an awesome job at selling
They
themselves.
At the current
TBH.
stage, they still play quite a few games at places where there's not even a barrier around the pitch, right?
Don't have to buy tickets.
No, yeah, you just show up.
Just show up.
Yeah, depends who they play, and I don't know if they themselves charge when you go. But it's definitely low league.
Maybe this is feasible though. If we limit it to these to two clubs, which would be Frammel, and then B 1908, then maybe we could make it work. Go check them out, see how we feel.
Yeah, I think that would be the best idea.
then
Because I feel like
I'm
I'm not going to support Brøndby. I think they're just too big.
It's too mainstream for me. Is what you're saying.
It's exactly my voice. No, I want.
So, you
agree though, right?
I know. I completely agree. I think that would be boring. Like if the outcome of all of this would be Brøndby, then we could have just not done it. I feel. Like I knew about them. We knew about them before, right? We want to find out something new. Knew about Danish football culture, about the Danish Copenhagen area clubs that are playing and stuff. So I feel like this leads us in the right direction where we want to go.
Yeah.
And for either of those teams, their pitches are, I mean, you can see them from the kitchen window here, right? So it's pretty close to where your podcast is taking place.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I think we've come, I think, full circle to our general conclusion that we're going to check out both Femmelhammer and B 1908, and then we'll see which. But can't we support both? No, we can't because they're rivals. How would you feel about us supporting both?
Then again, who would know? They wouldn't know until they meet in the cup again. Or if Frammel gets relegated, which looks pretty unlikely at the moment, and
they lost the last game, right?
No, but how exciting would it be to support? Femmelhammer won 5-1 last night.
Okay, the match before. Okay.
Yeah, how exciting would it be to okay, we're going to support Femmelhammer this season, and this is the first season they get back up to the top flight since 1994.
That would be an awesome start to our fanboyism.
So let's have it parked as B 1908 and Femmelhammer for now, and we're written in pencil that we're supporting Femmelhammer, but we won't decide for fully until we've seen both of them.
Yeah, and I'm excited to do that. Excited to get out there and see them play.
Scoreless sort of podcast on tour.
Yeah.
So this is kind of sums up our podcast 2-part series on Danish football. Thank you as always, Leon.
It was very exciting, and I have to say that this was something completely new, and I learned a lot about clubs I had not heard too much about before. So
as a result, like Danish culture and
exactly. So much value taken from this. Thank you, Yannick.
Well, you're welcome. And also, we to a great deal ignored most of the country, which is also quite.
Yeah, but that's what you have to do.
That's for practical reasons.
There's only so many things you can look into.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. Yeah,
that's the nature.
We do live in Copenhagen.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. I hope also that we didn't put you on the spot, right? Because you had to tell a lot about different clubs and also sometimes a bit of trash talking.
Yeah.
Hope that they're not like friends of yours now, up in arms.
No. I'll change my name and address.
Okay.
So thanks again for joining us on this 2-part series on Danish football. We have some interesting podcasts coming up on entirely different things, maybe some more book reviews and also some more studies of games. So check out in your newsfeed and like and subscribe on all our social media. And if you want, tell a friend about the podcast. That would be good.
Thank you. See you. Bye.